We are only a couple of days into Dragon Age the Veilguard's release, and you can see that the media is hinting that BioWare is giving up on the game. This is pretty big because this is a 10-year development game. You would assume they'd have big downloadable content plans going for the future to keep things going, to keep this game alive, because they need to recoup a lot of revenue that they made with this AAA game. And they are looking like they're abandoning it already. And it's crazy. This is pretty wild, but it goes to show that this is much bigger of a failure than the media is reporting. They're trying to gaslight all the gamers into saying you lost, blah, blah, blah. It's all about these guys being anti-gamer. It has nothing to do with the fact that this is any kind of legitimate success. It's not. It's soft sales for a AAA game. It is something that, again, they're just gaslighting you about. And so we're going to get into why this is a huge deal in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in the culture, especially science fiction and fantasy. Appreciate you guys for being there. And please sign up for my newsletter. I am a science fiction and fantasy and comic book writer. This is something that you just get a bunch of free books from me for signing up and being a part of my mailer. And that way we can stay in touch. If anything ever happens with this platform, we're there. It's important because, with things happening this week, big things happening this week, you never know what the powers that be are going to do. So grab this on the description below. Night Training is a wonderful fantasy. If you like Dragon Age, you're going to love that one especially. And science fiction in Star Realms. And then, of course, Flying Sparks, my graphic novel. That starts the series of my superhero adventures. So lots of stuff for lots of different people, and I give it all away for free just because I believe in these products so much. All right, thank you guys so much for being there, and thank you for reading and being on the newsletter. Dragon Age this is crazy. DLC plans unknown as BioWare shifts full attention to next Mass Effect game. Now, BioWare is panicking because if they're already moving to the next big property that they have, and they know that they had such a huge problem with Mass Effect in the past, this is really their last gasp on Mass Effect. And the media was already saying, when this was coming out, IGN made a report saying this might be the last Dragon Age game. BioWare knew that they had to have a huge hit and make this go. Otherwise, it was going to be a big problem for this franchise. So their two big franchises are working in tandem, and it's really time to shit or get off the pot for these companies to see if they can actually make a profit with it. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very over for BioWare. Now, this is kind of the same situation that Ubisoft has, just in the microcosm. They just had a big Star Wars AAA game and a big Assassin's Creed AAA game, kind of hitting close to the same time, much closer than these two will hit, but the two properties really needed to have a huge success because they invested so much money into them going down the pipeline. And if you look at it, it's like a parallel for these two companies. They just went full woke on everything. There's new evidence that's coming out showing that there were writers' notes on Dragon Age showing exactly how woke they wanted it to be. And with two games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars, that is a make or break the company situation. They really think, guys, that you'll just, because the brand, just come in on it and you'll just buy it no matter what. So they can go, okay, we're not going to focus on the gamers. We're going to try to get that modern audience to come in too. And then we'll really have a success because the gamers are going to buy it anyway. That's how these companies view you. I mean, they just see you as pay pigs. They think, hey, these guys are Dragon Age fans. They're going to buy the collector's edition for $100+, and we've got them. It doesn't matter. We don't even have to appeal to them. Let's try to get this new audience. And that's what we see across entertainment. Hollywood does this with their big franchises. Of course, Marvel and DC Comics do this in the comic space as well. They really think that like their core audience are just a bunch of simps, and they don't actually just try to appeal to anybody. It's really sad how they treat gamers and just their core customer base with such disrespect. It's entitlement culture is what it is in this corporation. And so they do that, and then, of course, on the flip side, they have their second agenda, which is the big DEI agenda going into things as well. And so those two things are snowball into a just huge disaster. So you can see this is already absolutely crazy as they don't have any plans for DLC for this. Now, if this was a huge success, if they were making big money about this, they'd be announcing that they're working on DLC right away. We saw this with Space Marine 2. Space Marine 2 was a bigger success than they thought with a smaller budget than they thought, under budget and ahead of schedule. That's right. Well, not really ahead of schedule, but you know the sentiment. And they announced that they're working on DLC like right away, and then immediately they came out with their plans for phases coming out with it. and we're showing the audience that they're committed towards the game. They're committed towards its future going forward, and making sure you still have content within the game because it has such a huge player base. Now, that's not happening here. This is a big red flag. If this game was a success like the media tries to paint it as, this would not be the case whatsoever. BioWare would be focusing on it because there's profit to be had. They know there's not profit to be had, that the profit is not there. It's soft sales, and that's why they've shifted. And so here you go. According to Rolling Stone, reported in an interview with creative director John Epler, the full attention of BioWare has shifted entirely to the next Mass Effect game. Oh boy. While Epler didn't comment directly on the future content plans for the latest Dragon Age game, they're being quiet about it for a reason, my friends. IGN says it believes BioWare plans to support the Veilguard with, quote, quality of life improvements and a handful of smaller content updates. Like I said, they're abandoning the game. It's over already. They know this didn't do well. They are just wiping their hands of it and moving forward because this is not something like Conquered where it's like they got zero sales. They got soft sales. It's a little bit of a hit. They're not going to invest in it going forward. This is what's happening right here. It's very, very obvious what the signal of this is from the company. If true, that's likely to surprise many BioWare fans familiar not just with Dragon Age, but Mass Effect 2. The studio has long been associated with quality DLC drops, including fan-favorite DLC expansions like Trespasser or Awakening, and that just lends credence to exactly what I'm saying right here. This is a signal that this game is not doing well. It's not happening. They're not moving forward with it. They are usually like this with the studio where they're pushing big DLC updates, and since they're not doing their usual game plan, that means their game plan with this has failed. Did you know that early on Dragon Age the Veilguard, BioWare offers a nod to Mass Effect? I guess this is all they have on the article right here. But this is why. And here's the reason why, guys. Because this is what's actually happening with Dragon Age. Look at how crazy this article is. This is from GameSpot. And this is how hard the media is trying to justify and say that it's just great that these companies push this DEI agenda. Dragon Age Origins wasn't just horny, it was about sex. Now, this is not about the Veilguard, of course, which is just about being transgender. It seems like it's a actual big self-insert thing, this non-binary crap. It's developing on that level, and we might have more information on that later as it comes in. But it is, as you can see, these people in the media want to push everything into this weird degenerate sort of situation where everything's about weird sexual identities, about their strange fetishes full time. And this is just this is pathetic from GameSpot. It's this is the level that you're going to try to get some clicks, I guess. Absolutely crazy. While recent games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 feature sex and romance, Dragon Age Origins wove both into its central themes. Oh my gosh, it's its 15-year anniversary, and examine its role as daring, if awkward, attempt to use sex as a central theme and mechanic. So this is what they're attempting to do. This is what they want all video games to be. They want it to be their pure pornography experience, just like everything else they have in culture. If you see movies, that's what they've delved it into. It's a weird fetish thing all the time. If you see comics, it's the exact same thing. And now they want their video games on this level, and those exist on Steam. There's some weird stuff on there already. But they want the big franchises to be in this sort of deal. And these are people at these gaming blogs. I'm not going to call them news outlets anymore. They're just blogs. They want everything to be in this sort of realm, and that's not what gamers want. Gamers want to slay dragons. They want to attack crazy wizards and things like that who are threatening their establishments. And that's what we want out of fantasy games and out of science fiction games. We want to blow up planets and the like. I mean, that's what the whole experience is supposed to be about. And when you fail to deliver that and you make everything about your crazy sex fetishes, this is what happens. The game's over. You can't do much with it because it doesn't make the kind of money that they want. It just turns off normal people from playing the game, and it makes it harder for them to actually establish an audience that wants to come in on this kind of thing. So this is a giant lesson. Appeal to your core audience, care about your core audience, cultivate your core audience, treat the customers with respect, and you win. And if you don't, you lose, period. All right, I love you and respect all you guys. Really appreciate you for being there. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. And also join my newsletter, guys. Don't lose me if anything happens here. I definitely want to connect with you guys. Thank you so much, and I give you some free stuff as a bonus, and I appreciate you being there.